waking up with Jesse and Juliana. It's Thursday. It's our Wellness Thursday, so we'll be with Isabella Masosera, the beautiful Isabel. She is in the studios. Later on, we'll bring to you some bits of stories, especially that Ramaphosa's son, all right, has appeared in the news in the streets of Rwanda.
Yes.
All right.
I first thought it was actually Photoshop.
No.
Until I realized it wasn't Photoshop.
He actually did post on one of his stories talking about my queen. And guess who was the queen?
Kate Katushabi.
There's a beautiful face. Ramaphosa's son. Somebody mentioned.
Very well. You people are living a life.
Somebody mentioned and said, and go, yeah, way. Let's look for money. Then somebody said, and just like that, she might single-handedly solve our SA visa issue.
I like how that social media, I swear. Whoever brought for us this thing called social media. Wow.
Isn't this interesting?
It gets but on top of that, there's also another interesting audio or video that is making rounds.
I was just about to get to that.
Okay, unleash.
Naomi, that you people went on to say that she married a broke man.
Guy.
Now she's come out.
She has a comeback for you. Wait for it.
The day you marry a woman who can defend your brokenness like that,
that woman is for keeps.
you just keep.
Naomi is for keeps. I don't think that young man is about a woman who can defend you like this on
That he
social
was seen
media.
on a bus?
That was Twejeranese. It was like those.
Is it a bad thing to be on a bus?
Guys, what is wrong with being on a motor even?
Don't you see me on a motor every day?
Every day I jump on motors. I don't really care.
So the day you get on a motor,
You're supposed
just
to-
because your car is in control technique, now you are broke?
Hey, people in Kigali, you're not easy. Hey, you people. Who shall forgive you?
Life is hard in its every way and in its every format. Isabel Masosera is in the studios. Good morning, Isabel.
Good morning. I don't even know what to say after that conversation.
Social media
I
is
need
on
to
fire
reset my
this
mind.
week. Yes.
Yes, but it's a beautiful segue into what we are talking about this morning. There's a lot of pressure to, have this perfect image. And like Jesse said, I'm wondering, what is wrong with someone using a bus? It's actually, I love road trips. And sometimes the best way to enjoy them is to mingle. He's a businessman and he has products that he does not consume himself. So what's
Somebody
wrong
else has to consume the products.
what's wrong if he
Guys.
went to do some research? I mean, people should breathe.
People should relax. There's nothing wrong with seeing a CEO on a motor. There's nothing wrong with seeing a CEO into a journey. There's nothing wrong. Guys, can we not give ourselves heart attacks for nothing?
I know a very rich man who actually enjoys riding his scooter. You won't even see him using his fancy cars unless it's like the weekend. And people should, that authenticity, let people be. What brings you joy and happiness? It doesn't matter what the world thinks is trendy or good.
It's a lot. It's a lot to
it
unpack.
is.
Our today's conversation, we are breaking the mirror, all right? When your mental health no longer matches the life that you display, or when the life that you've built doesn't match the life that you feel, when the pressures of our community are going to force you to come and create a live video shouting at people you don't see because you have to defend an image that you have created for yourself. It's more like looking for validation. I am not who you think I am. This is who I am. That when someone says you broke, you have to defend, no,
It's
I am
enough.
actually
Yeah.
wealthy. I got it all together. There's a particular kind of exhaustion, the one that doesn't come from doing so much, but from pretending that you're okay for too long. I mean, I've been there, when you pretend you're okay for too long. And normally talk about tears, but I got this phone call yesterday from someone in the US yesterday afternoon. And and they called on WhatsApp. Then I didn't pick up. Then they sent a message, please pick up, it's urgent. And I said, I'll call you back. So I went, took my time and called these people back. And guess what? There was somebody sobbing
On the other
the
side.
other side of the phone. And it was about their child
Yeah.
who has not seen their father. And they were just trying to navigate the complexities around it and what to tell this child.
It's a tough world.
It is.
Listen, you know what I'm talking about. The moments when everything on the outside says you are thriving, but on the inside you are just trying to hold it together. And today we want to pause again and ask something that most people never ask. Not because they don't care, but because they're afraid of the answer. What if the version of you that the world celebrates, all right, you're a Miss, you're a star in the limelight, a football player, a basketball player. You are the Jesse that guys here on the mic, yeah, with the baritone. But then on the inside, while they celebrate that, it's also the version that is slowly breaking you. All right? Isabel's here, and we love these conversations because for me they slow down the week a little bit and they take me to a corner of just reflection. Where am I? How did I get here? Isabel, what does it mean when someone's outer life becomes a performance but their inner world is collapsing?
I want to start with a disclaimer and say, buckle up. This is going to get too real. So for those who feel it might be triggering, because I have a lot of people in my mind today when we talk about this conversation, and we will go there. So trigger warning, people. What does it mean, coming back to your question, Jesse? It means a split realities. You're living two lives. Internally, you're not well. Externally, you're performing all the roles. You're meeting all the expectations, be it at work, be it in your relationship, be it as a mother, be it in your friendship. You're doing it all on the outside. You talk of all the misses, and let's talk about the CEOs, right? Let's talk about the director of different boards, so the ministers, the parliamentarians. There's so many hats. But let's also talk about that lady back in, I don't know, Nyamata, anywhere.
Who is raising 9 kids all by themselves?
This experience, this topic, this conversation is no respecter of persons. It means you are prioritizing what everybody sees over what you feel. And recently, something I've been learning, seeing my therapist, which is something I recommend for everybody, is when we talk about struggling on the inside, we often talk about just the mental. But the mind can struggle. What you're feeling can be something else. But also your body can be going through an experience of its own. Now, all these three things are struggling, but you're more focused on, in Rwanda, if you're not driving a Benz, if you're not driving a RAV4, you know, if you are a gentleman of a certain status, right, you are a CEO or you have a business and you have all your friends and you need to go out every Friday, you need to have a madam driving a decent car, but you also need to always have a chana you have, you know, called to come and keep you company, right? And that should somehow, you know, show something of who you are. I want to read a quote that came out, because sometimes when we talk about these things, people think, you know, all these motivational speakers, all these people, the wellness industry is oversaturated. We're not the only ones worrying about this. I want to quote a senior economist from the National Bank of Rwanda. I know you've seen this go around a little bit. He says people are taking loans to impress people they don't even talk to. Can you imagine that? They are living outside of their budgets to look like they are winning at life. But behind closed doors, they are anxious, they are broke, and they are wondering how it got this far. That is really, really packed. That is Patrick Mogenzi who is saying that. So even our our economists are worried about our choices today. So what does it mean? It means that we are living a lie, and that causes emotional fatigue. And that gap, that disconnect, catches up with everybody at some point, whether today, whether tomorrow. If you don't figure it out, the cost is heavy.
Well, I want to ask you something personal. I don't know why you are meeting with a therapist,
Yes.
but and this could also be triggering for you. But I don't.
So trigger alert.
I'm preparing my
Trigger alert
emotions
for
too.
me as well. Good.
Have you been? I mean, I have seen you on different panels.
Yes.
I have seen you interview His Excellency. I have seen you in different spaces. You are eloquent. You are a go-getter. You are always at it. You're always prepared. You're always looking beautiful.
Thank you.
All right? You own the space when you are on the stage.
Yes.
Have you found yourself applauded for the version of yourself, but that same person that you are is slowly dying on the inside? People have clapped for you. You look successful. I mean, when somebody says Isabel, they're like, oh, there she is. There she is. But what if you are slowly apart behind the scenes? Have you been in that situation? Or have you seen people in your circles being applauded for who they are, but the same thing that they are is slowly eating them up?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've experienced it. I've spoken about it. I have seen people pay a high price for doing that in my own circle and globally. It can be disorienting. It can be painful. It can be lonely. Because most of the time, as somebody says, oh my God, you're such a rock star. How do you do it all? No, I'm not. I'm barely hanging on sometimes. You know what I mean? Not every day is perfect. I remember this one day vividly, and I did record a small video and I put it on Instagram, and it got such a reaction. I was in the middle of hosting an event when I recorded it. I woke up in the morning and my hands were going like that. My hands were shaking. I was struggling with insomnia at the time. I was not sleeping well. Now, a lot of the times people talk about mental health illness, mental health struggles. These are real. And in my line of work, insomnia can be very tricky because you need clarity of mind. You need to be able to be an active listener on that panel. If you're emceeing, you need to be able to read the room. So presence is important. And that's something that insomnia plays a little bit with. And I remember being so anxious. The shaking was from the anxiety because I was, you're questioning yourself. Am I really reading that right and all of that? And it was so difficult. And I remember telling people, check in with yourself. Let's go away from me a little bit. Recently, actually not too recently, last year, I was very privileged to meet the team behind the Kate Spade work. Kate Spade, the founder, this incredible, brilliant, fun brand, this woman that I absolutely love who's done so much. What most people don't know is that behind the scenes, she was struggling with depression. She was having mental health struggles, later succumbed to suicide, right? Her brand, the image you get outside, that's not it. There's so much that happens behind closed doors. Now, I'm so grateful to see that her team has carried on her legacy. You see the work they're doing with Taraji P. Hansen, who is now really doing a lot of work around emotional and mental wellness within the Black community in the US. And she took her own situation and tried to create awareness around that. But we've gone too far. Let's talk about people like Elon Musk. He's top of mind, right? This visionary, this disruptor. Elon Musk has come out and confessed that he's had emotional strain himself. He's been depressed at times. He struggles behind closed doors. Now, this, you're applauding him. But I've seen interviews where I'm like, oh wow, I can see he is not
Available.
he would rather be anywhere but there. Let's talk about people who are closer home, say East Africa. We have role models, heroes. Lupita Nyong'o, right?
I just read her story
actually
and the
reading-
fibroids.
Yeah, on the fibroids. That was just
I was
yesterday.
very surprised. I'm like, I mean, all this at that time for the Grammys and all
Yeah,
that.
she's walking
Oscars,
the
rather.
carpets.
We were like applauding her, and we had no idea what she was going through behind closed doors. I mean, she was struggling with fibroids, in and out of surgeries.
And
People
it's
are going
back
through a
now.
lot.
You know, she's seated there talking about it while experiencing it in real time. That's real courage, you know. And there's so much that could come from that. Obviously, that's vulnerability that, you know, I really applaud. It could be easy for her to just maintain what we know her for: grace, composure, strength. She takes on characters that really embody what one would say, maybe don't touch that. So eloquent, well educated, the perfect, you know, example for any young girl coming up. I remember this line stayed with me, and it actually broke me a little. She said, I felt like a prisoner in my own body. I know so many women struggling with fibroids. We don't talk about that. Have you had a show about fibroids on this?
No, not
Kigali in
yet,
the
but it's
morning?
something we want to do.
Something we're planning on doing.
We want to do
Please do.
menopause. We
About
want to do
menopause and
fibroids and
fibroids
all
as
that,
well.
yes.
Yes, there's this facade, like, you know, as long as obviously the conversation is around performance, how do we break that? But I'm telling you, so many people, and the reason why this mask becomes so important of performance, of outward success, and having it all together and keeping face, which is so big here in Rwanda, but also everywhere in the world, is that if you fall back inward, that requires a lot of courage and strength, because there's just so much not going right inward, and people are afraid to do that, right? But we have to be able to show up in that office and say, good morning, thank you all for being here today. I'm not feeling so well. I'm going to take a seat and I'm going to do this presentation seated, and not think that that means you're not, you know, capable, or you're not strong, or you don't have it all.
A lot is going through my mind while I'm listening to Isabella, and I'm thinking, I mean, in the next probably 10 to 20 years from now, we're going to have, and maybe that research was true, that half of the world will be mad. Maybe it's very possible. I'm not saying, because you know what?
It's not true.
It's possible, by the way, Jesse, because a lot of people in this generation, we are living a fake life. 80% of people living today, we are living a fake life. We live for society, we don't live for ourselves.
That's true. Very well put.
And that's what is causing this trauma.
Yes.
And tell me what we are raising. If you're living 80% of your life is fake, what children, clearly even your children, you're going to give them a fake life.
Absolutely. I said last week, they learn by seeing.
Yes.
A fake legacy. So to say.
Not
So tell me if the world
sustainable.
won't be mad in the next 20 years.
But you've gone so far. I worry about Rwanda's future. How sustainable is what our, you know, the generations of our president and these cadres have built? Can we sustain it if we continue this way? Why am I asking this? I know friends of ours, we have dated for, we have married for, we are paying school fees, and we might even be carrying in retirement. You understand? Yes, because why? They are trying to portray a life that is not truly theirs.
Yeah.
We have friends who have refused to go for mental health support because how dare they be seen? You know, our male friends that we want to talk about all the
Isabella,
time.
that brings me back to the thinking of what are we going to do to actually educate society, not to put people on pressure? Because you see why they're refusing to go for mental support is because how will people look at this? How will they look at me doing
But
this?
society is you and me.
Exactly.
Because
So
they too.
how long shall it take for people for these kind of theories to get out of their heads?
Society is me and you and Jesse. So for me, I've come to that point of when it comes to your wholeness, your internal, because if your brain is not functioning, that job you will not be able to do. If you are not mentally there, this country we cannot carry forth. If your solution escape vulnerability and authenticity and honesty and being human is to go and numb yourself and drink alcohol, because misery does
Use
love
drugs.
company. Because when you think about, if I have to change and look inward, that change is so scary. So the familiar is so comfortable.
Yes.
And misery loves company.
Yes.
So we kind of gravitate towards that, because then we don't have to hold a mirror to ourselves. The thing is, it's not sustainable.
It is not.
It is really not.
I know that time is not in our best interest, but there are a few questions that I still want us to handle. Next, after the news at 9, we'll be speaking to the National Bank of Rwanda in a completely different conversation. Isabel, we have higher performers and we have names we can look at. There are people who broke my heart. Whitney Houston broke my heart. High performing. Every time I've watched her story, I think I repeat my heartbreak.
Yeah.
Mike Jackson broke my heart. There are several others. We have footballers, high performing individuals that we have seen succumb to issues of the heart, mind, and soul, because they're up there. The expectations of us, the fans, are too many, too much pressure. Just like the expectations we have of the likes of Naomi, the few people that we see on the streets who trying to build a name and a brand for themselves. Put that aside. Is it also true that success in itself can become a shield? All right? A shield that high-functioning people create around themselves, something people use to avoid facing their real emotional wounds. And you just get lost into it and use it as a shield to just cover up the emotional wounds. Or you're an excellent basketball player and you just go on, be excellent, but use that excellence and success to just cover up your emotional wounds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's happening all around us. And I'm sure you know people in your circles that are doing that. You know, you can see they've achieved all this and all that. But when they talk about it, you don't even feel that fire, that passion, that, you know, when they talk about it. And funny enough, I always tell people the quickest way to know if success is just a shield or a mask is to ask yourself, when I finally achieve that goal, what's the feeling? Is it joy or is it relief?
It reminds me of the story of Thierry Henry. I don't know if you've watched that documentary where he says, people called me Thierry and it looked beautiful, number 14. I scored many goals, but I was performing for my father who did not give me the approval. All right? And then he says the happiest moment of his life is when the children call him daddy, because they are not calling Thierry, the player number 14, they are calling daddy. And says one time he had to turn down an offer to play football away from the children because this felt more meaningful than the success out there. Yes.
And that is so true. The thing that I want to warn people about, at the end of that day, you're going back home and it's your tears on that pillow. You need to ask yourself, what does success mean to me? What does happiness mean to me? Who am I? What are my values? Do they align with the so-called job I do? If my values are integrity, if my values are honesty, but I am working for a company that is embezzling funds, that is not paying taxes, not giving EBMs, how does that align with who am I? Who is Isabel? Our identity, we are confusing that with validation. We no longer go back to our values. We consult trends. We've lost the core of who we are as people. And that's why, because if we were, then we would understand that there's much more beauty in the simple, in the everyday, in this time. What is legacy? You asked a question before this segment, what would you do in your last minutes, in your last days of your life, if you knew?
That you had just 1 year to go.
If your answer is, I have to set some bucket list, we have a problem.
Because you should have bucket list.
Why don't you have a bucket
You
list?
should have a bucket list already.
I heard Jesse say he will be spending money. Why are you not spending money? If your answer is, now I need to go and write birthday letters for my children, and it is the first time that you're writing them so that, they can remember you are there, we have a problem. We need to choose wholeness. You need to spend some time. The other day we talked about, isolation. This is not what we're talking about. You need to be able to sit with yourself. Do you know there are people who can't sit with themselves, with their own company? That's why you have how many people a day scrolling social media every 2 hours? The statistics are there. We are the noise inside of our heads is so loud. It is asking us questions we're not comfortable sitting with. And sometimes actually we need to get outside of our head and into our soul, our innate self. There are no lies there. There are no lies. Try some meditation. I know it's scary and it sounds like Muzungu things, but that is so African, by the way. Sit with yourself.
Yes.
Listen to your soul. What is it craving? Ask yourself some simple questions. Have a check-in every single day and say, what is the inner me telling me right now? What is it feeling? Is it happy? Is it sad? What about this conversation? What about this moment is making me feel that way? Get closer to what is really true to you. Some people, especially, let's talk about men. We have men today. You meet someone and you ask him, what is your life plan? What is your life mission? Can you articulate it? We can articulate your 5-year goals. That one we are very, very good at. 5-year plan, yes. What is your life plan? Okay? If I ask this question a lot, if it was your burial today and you could write your own eulogy, what would it say? What would you want it to say?
Some few beautiful things.
And how many houses you achieved? You built rather?
No.
How many?
I said some few beautiful things.
Some few beautiful things there.
Yes.
Unpack that for us.
What are the few beautiful things?
What are the few beautiful things? Some of us don't even know what's beautiful to us. We know what is beautiful about the trends. I asked someone recently, why are you wearing khaki pants? They could not tell me. If you asked me,
it's a trend.
Imagine.
It's a trend.
That would be the answer.
Imagine you did ask that question and my head went straight to the presidential campaigns.
Those were called cargo pants.
Khaki cargo pants. Yes.
we really
So
like...
you'd answer would be, I was inspired by the president.
Presidential material.
Okay.
Okay, at least that one has an answer. But if I asked you your style, this is so serious.
Yeah.
We talk about space wellness. You have a house. If I asked you, why anything in that space and what does it do for you? 90% of the people I ask cannot tell me. If I tell Juliana, why are you wearing that? If you ask me why I'm wearing what I'm wearing, I'll tell you exactly why, from my makeup and what I'm trying to say with my makeup to my outfit. If
And by the way,
it's
your makeup is so lit.
Thank you.
You did that yourself?
Yes, I did.
Ah.
That's of it.
You've got some talent. Consider doing something like that.
No, I'll not be doing that. But what I want to say is, like, when you find people putting on things. I was at an award ceremony. I'll not mention her name. It's a very famous star. I think she almost fell down in front of all of us like 3 times.
She was wearing 6-inch.
6-inch, but the dress didn't even have a split part for her to be able to walk comfortably in those shoes.
Fashion.
But fashion, we shall die for fashion. Why? What are you communicating? Maybe you do have, and I don't want to judge, but I think that we should be so self-aware, so intentional, that from the job we take, to the friends that we keep, to how we are parenting, to the schools that we are choosing. You have people, you know that the early parts of your child's brain development, emotional awareness and all of that is between the ages of when they are born and 5, right? But
6, actually.
6. But then when you ask parents why they chose the school they chose, it is near home,
It's international.
It is international. The school fees is not even about the ones who are broke. We are so removed from the inside. It's a very wide topic. I don't even think we can do it justice.
I want us to come close to the end of this conversation, and I know it is easier for many of us to say, "I am tired." It is easier for us to say, "I am busy," but it's not easier for us to say, "I am hurting." Very few people have the capacity to speak it through their mouth and say, "This is how I feel. I am hurting."
Yeah.
I mean, even when we're mourning, we don't want to say, "I'm hurting."
Yeah.
We just say, it's going to be okay. It's not okay.
How are you?
It's
It is
because-
well.
It's because not so many of us are realistic with ourselves. Me, I keep saying that. You can only say you're hurting because you know how you've expressed who you are. But if you're not realistic with yourself, again, you're leaving the couple of layers on you.
Absolutely.
You'll never tell how
But
you're
we
hurting.
also need to unpack why
We need to
why are we not real with ourselves?
We
Society
just
has
had guys.
no society has a really bad relationship with shame.
Yes.
Shame should be a whole conversation we need to unpack here. Why are you not comfortable sitting in that? You know, I have a mentor of mine, and she was telling me, "Oh my God, I just started, this new thing. It's so raw. I have to be vulnerable. Sometimes I fear, what if I change my mind?" We have all these fancy words that we use when people's perspectives shift, the disconnect. Why are we so afraid? What if 2 minutes ago I met somebody and they actually taught me something new that shifted my perspective? This thing called fear to be judged, shame, we have such a bad relationship with it, and that contributes immensely to us saying, "I want, unleash what's inside. What if it's not accepted? What if it's not?" But I want to also unpack the question that you just said. You asked, why are we afraid of saying we are hurting? I think Juliana has answered that perfectly. I would say because it invites hard conversations. We don't want to do hard things today. That's why ChatGPT is winning. It is winning, and it will win, and it is going to create problems that we have to solve.
Yeah, recently I told ChatGPT that I was hurting.
And what did it say?
What
Did
was
it hold
his
space?
response? He or she, whatever that
I
ChatGPT
will
was.
also unpack one day.
It said, "I will also unpack one day."
Well, you could find ChatGPT was also going through something.
There's 1 minute for Isabel before we let her go. When people say, "Check on your strong friends," I've seen this phrase many
you need
times. People put it out there on their stories and different spaces. Check on your strong friends. What exactly are we admitting about the way we treat vulnerability?
That we're selfish. That it serves us when somebody can carry us, and we like to enjoy that. But it's also a good thing. It means that now we are self-aware. Because why do I say selfish? Sometimes we make the strong friends, not necessarily that they've claimed that position. Have you ever found yourself emotionally dumping on somebody without even checking in if they're strong enough to be that strong friend?
I do that a lot.
Yes.
I do that to one particular individual. I unpack before she even tells me how she's doing. And then later on, I feel very guilty. And I'm like, but how are you though? How are you yourself? Before I throw all this nonsense on you.
I'm learning to do that.
Yeah.
I was just like you. And I'm not there yet, I must say. I have only 1 minute. I'm going to go there, but I also want to go back a little bit to answer why it's easy to say I'm busy and why it's also easy to say, there's another one you said, busy and tired.
Yes.
It's easy to say busy because that means someone is this productivity. Busy and tired say two things: productivity, accountability, like you're doing. Tired just invites, says I'm weak, I don't have it all together, and all that. Flipping back to the strong friend, The strong friend issue is a really bad thing we need to get rid of. We don't have strong friends and weak friends. We are all friends. I want us to understand something so critical, and that is friendship equity, relationship equity. You cannot keep taking. You have to give. And this should never have been a conversation. And we need to be intentional to get rid of it. When you go out to see your friends, choose presence. Choose to be deeply present and connected. Look at Jessie the way you look at Juliana. The habit that we do is because when people have made vulnerability, have accepted and embraced it and cultivated it, we immediately say, that one is the weak one. The one who has not, that one is the strong one. Most time it's the reverse. The one who is actually emotionally mature and has grown is able to say, I'm falling apart.
I want us to end at this before we get into the next minute. Isabel, thank you so much. I appreciate it for always the insight you bring to this conversation, which is a deep, reflective, but also very difficult conversation.
Absolutely.
The time is 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. We have news, and then a conversation with the National Bank of Rwanda is coming up next. We're talking about microfinance and how they intersect with the central bank.
From around the world, minutes for news updates on 94.3 Royal FM, the heartbeat of Kigali.
mwaramutse neza mwese muri hose mwese mureza kuva 94.3 Royal FM kumvikanira Kigali ku mirongo ya FM turi tariki ya 17 kwezi kwa karindwi